Hey everyone, it's Presley of ActOutGames.com here, and today is the first day of Nano!
It is.
Yay!
Another year of Nano.
Woohoo, Nano! We're gonna actually try and do it this time. We didn't do a lot of it last year.
Yeah, we've tried every year.
I'm gonna do it!
I think I've succeeded twice.
Filled with determination. You have?
I think I have.
Is that when you wrote an entire novel and forgot about it?
Was that a Nano, Mommy?
It could have been.
It might have been a Nano, yeah. Maybe one of the times was. And one of the Nanos, like the first Nano I ever succeeded at was longhand. So I have notebooks with, handwritten. I remember I was even in Tennessee, I think, for part of it, and just took my notebooks with me so I could write. It was before we wrote on laptops. So I did one of those. And then I did another one where apparently I wrote a book that I forgot I wrote. Because I was so exhausted by the end of Nano, I totally forgot.
I haven't read it yet. I'm going to, but it was an entire 200-page novel book. And it
100,000 words or so. Yeah, I mean it was even way more than Nano's 50,000 words. So you want to explain what Nano is for those who don't know what Nano is?
Sorry, it is National Novel Writing Month, which I'm going with instead of National Write a Novel in a Month. I'm going with National Novel Writing Month.
Yep.
And it is where adults, at least, are challenged to write 50,000 words in 1 month.
That month being?
That month being November. Because it's National Novel Writing November.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's NANOWRIMO. NANOWRIMO.
November Novel Writing Month.
There's no no. It happens to be November.
November Novel Writing Month.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So you set a goal. If you're doing it correctly too, which I've done a couple times too. You're writing something brand new.
Yes.
You're starting with a blank page. You're writing 50,000 words on a new project. Right?
Yeah.
And so we're not doing that this time.
Nope.
Because you've read a couple of chapters or chunks of a couple of the chapters or scenes at least out of the book that we're working on. So we really want to try and get through the first draft of this book.
Yes.
So we're going to pick up where we left off and try and write the next 50,000. We still need to write another at least 50,000 words. So we're going to write another 50,000 words.
Yeah.
Or ish. We're going to see how far we
get
this time. But we're going to write
determined.
Every day, even though we haven't written today, and it's the end of the first day of Nano.
I wrote today.
But so there's this thing you've got, when you're writing a novel or a screenplay or whatever, there's different styles, right? So there's the outliner versus the write as you go approach. And I've been a write as you go kind of person, but I tend to be more successful when I outline.
Okay.
Because I don't know, there's this expression, it's called aim small, miss small. We use it in shooting mostly, but you talk about guns a lot lately. But it applies to other things. People use it as a figure of speech, right? But what it is if you're aiming at a small point on the target, even if you miss, a lot of times you'll be just a little off and you'll still hit on the target.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're aiming to hit the target and you miss the target.
Right.
So if you aim small, you'll miss small. So you'll still be close. Okay. Whereas if you aim big, you can miss big. It's not a great expression, but aim small, miss small. And so I'm thinking, as you're moving through the plot of the book that you're writing, right? If you're really just trying to hit this target, I'm going to start here and I kind of know how my book's going to end, and so I'm going to write this meandering path and make sure that my book lands out here somewhere. That's aiming big. There's a lot of stuff between these things.
Yes.
Whereas if you outline and at least chapter to chapter, or at least your major plot points. So that's what I started with, was writing, I knew what the end of the first act was, I knew what the end of the second act was, and I knew what the end of the third act was. And so I would write, all I cared about when I was writing the first act was landing at that plot point.
Yeah.
And then from that plot point to the next plot point, all I cared about was that plot point. And so it made a smaller target. So just right to here, just right to here, just right to here. And then you start getting these subplot points, and you can develop smaller targets, right?
Yeah.
And chapters. I know this chapter needs to get this done, and this chapter does this, and so you have a list of all your chapters. And now for this book, we have a list of all the scenes, so that's even sub-chapter. This scene, this scene, this scene. And so when you're writing one of them, all you have to think about is that scene. Yeah, it is all in one, because you don't know where the chapter breaks are.
Yeah.
That's why I put it all in one chapter, because I didn't want to make decisions about where this chapter breaks were until we wrote all the scenes.
Yes.
And so the other thing that this lets me do is sometimes I'll get really interested in a scene that's in the book somewhere. Like it just gets stuck in my head. Like, oh, I really want to write this scene after the bombing. Spoilers.
Dad!
So I want to write this scene, the aftermath of the explosion, right?
Yes, that's going to be fun.
But I'm not there yet. And so this lets me sort of jump down to that scene and just write that scene and have it sitting there waiting for when I write up to it.
Yeah.
So having the outline kind of lets me do that a little bit better. Like, I don't know, like it's the impression is that it takes some of like the romanticism out of writing. That like sitting down at a blank page and not knowing where your story's going and your characters tell you what your story's going to develop into, and that stuff still happens even when you outline it and when you kind of structure the way you write. But I find it to be a much more effective. Well, I mean, I can't talk about how effective it is because it's been 3 years that we've been writing this book. But when I have done well and have been on track and doing what I've supposed to been doing, it's through an outlining process, right? Yeah. And so I think it's important that we got to this. So tonight, after we get off of here, we're not going to do it in front of you guys. We're going to review this outline and make sure you still agree with the outline, so that we can I can buckle down. And then tomorrow, when you're in your like 14 and a half hours of acting class,
it's 4.
I'm gonna go to a coffee shop and try and turn out a little bit of writing.
I'm gonna do mine because I'm doing one personally.
Yeah, so Presley, so there is a kids. Do you want to talk about the kids one?
The kids one.
We need to sign you up tonight. But
yes, the kids one is anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 words, both of which I've done in one day. So I'm still going for.
Yeah, you set your own target really on the kids one. You decide how much you think you want to write.
Yeah, I'm still thinking I'm gonna go for 50,000 because that's a challenge.
Oh, you're gonna go for the volume?
Yes, because like if I had a specific part of something I want to write stuck in my head, I've written 10,000 words, or I've written 5,000 at least in a day.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do something throughout a month that's supposed to be a challenge that I can do in a day. So, I already looked it up. It's like 1,000 words per day, going by the word count I already have.
No, I'm saying like to do Nano. I think it's like 16. Yeah, so 1,600 words a day.
Yep.
To do the 50,000 word Nano. And so we're 1,600 words in the hole. One day in, and there are really cool things. They're called write-ins. So Nano has a really great website. There'll be a link in the doobly-doo to the website, and you can go, and there's regional meetups, and so people just kind of get together in coffee shops or libraries. Remember we went last year to one in Denver?
It was really weird.
You just go, and it's kind of weird. It is kind of weird because you just go and everybody sits down and types. So you can't really talk to each other. There's no socialization going on. It's just a bunch of people in a room staring at their devices and typing. So it's like park day.
I made the worst mistake, by the way. Listen, okay, I didn't catch that until after. I made the worst mistake. Bring headphones, please.
Oh yeah.
Bring headphones. I didn't bring headphones, so I was just staring in silence listening to other people.
What's funny? We were in a library, and we came a little bit late, but there were still a couple of rooms at the big like conference table, and then by the end of it, there's people around the table and stuff like that. And every time you want to like get something out of your backpack, it's like silent. It's like it's enormous noise of unzipping your backpack and opening it up. Yeah, it was really.
I had to keep.
It was like it was a comedy movie kind of.
I was using my broken Surface, which didn't have a keyboard on it. So I had to keep, and there's only one USB port on a Surface, so I had to keep unplugging my Surface, and then plugging in my mouse, and then plugging in my keyboard, and it made so much noise.
Yeah, we were pretty disruptive in the write-in. But you can't, like, if it's in a coffee shop or something, it's a little bit better, because there are people that aren't involved. Like, if you go to the library or something like that, you have a room that's just people doing the writing, whereas the coffee shop is a little better, because there's people that aren't doing it, and you can take a break and walk over to another place that's kind of a chill area and stuff. So we will go places and do writing. Like, certainly we're not going to dedicate the month of November on the vlog to, and we have failed to write every day. But we'll check in like once a week or something and kind of talk about how we're doing. But I love it because I do love to write. I haven't written much in a while, and so hopefully I can get back in the routine of writing a little bit because I do really love it, and I love when we write together. I think it's a lot of fun. So we'll talk later, maybe the next time we do one, we'll update a little bit like the software that we're using and kind of the methodology. We can talk about the Snowflake a little bit because I really love the Snowflake methodology too. I think that works really well for developing your story. So we'll do all that, but yeah, so go check out Nano. If you're doing Nano, tell us below, and let's start a little, we can do a little ActOutGames Nano club. If people are writing, we can give each other word counts
with a K
and commiserate and a Z.
Yeah.
We can commiserate with each other about how we're not hitting our goals. Or you can make us all feel bad because you're hitting your goals. One of the two.
Yeah.
Whichever way we want to go.
Yeah.
Cool?
Cool.
Let's do that. All right, let's write. You
All right.
sign off.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If Nano seems like something you're interested in doing, please go ahead and do it. It's really, really fun. Also, really quick advice, write something that you want to write. Because I have a friend who got stuck in writing something she didn't want to write. And it was horrible, so write a story that you want to write. You've always wanted to write. No matter how stupid it is, write it. Do it.
Yeah,
It's
and
really
this
fun.
is totally like, I can't think of anything to write right now. Like, you can just totally, like, keep words flowing out of you. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I think I once...
Like, don't think,
yeah.
write a little bit, think, just...
Once I had a story from like a couple nanos ago where like one entire page was just filled with blah 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 blah, and then the story started. Just like, as long as your fingers are doing the typing, sometimes words happen in the story.
Yeah, there you go. You know, million monkeys now.
Yeah.
All right, get us out of here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure to press that subscribe button to see more content like this, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, guys.